I've dyed my hair black. I'm $7,000 in debt. And I'm absolutely love my little life. I just need to put my microphone here. And then we are ready to go. Stunning. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Walking Equestrian Podcast. I've got my cup of coffee. Joe's just left for work. I say for work. He came home for lunch. No one asked. Anyways, he's gone back to work. And I thought I really wanted to get a podcast episode filmed, recorded. You can hear Ferg again chewing in the background. This podcast episode is actually about you, mate. So if you could keep hush over there, that'd be great. Understood the assignment, fair enough. So, oh my God, it's literally been such a hectic few weeks. Like, hectic. I have never been so stressed in my whole entire life. But anyways, I'm just going to start from the beginning. Because those of you who don't follow me on, I don't know if you're allowed to say other apps on different apps. But anyways, if you follow me on the picture app and the funny dancing app, you'll know that my dog Fergus has been and had a major surgery. Here he is now. He's just knocking things off the side as he comes in. Yes, we're talking about you. We are talking about you. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see his face. We're talking about you in this episode. Is that all right? You've stressed me out over the last sort of 3 weeks. Yeah, you have. Anyways, let's start from before we even got Fergus. So, October 2023, we were told that Fergus, in October 2023, swallowed a corn on the cob, right? So when we went to view him and get to know him and things, they actually said, lock away your house bins, don't let him get into any bins because he will eat the entire contents. And if there's anything in there that he can't really digest, then you are going to struggle. So we were like, all good. So we've always had our kitchen bin in the utility. So there's a door in between where the bin is. So he has no access to our outdoor bins or our kitchen bins or toilet bin, anything like that. It's all locked away because we knew from the beginning he will go through the bins if he has access to them. So that is kind of the history that we got told when we first got him, that he had this surgery, he had a foreign body, he swallowed a corn on the cob whole, had to recovered fine, and we were told, don't let him in your kitchen bin. So that's all good. Right, now fast forward to September 2024. This is how my dog swallowed a corn on the cob. Again. And he's had major surgery, hence the dye my hair black, and now I'm $7,000 in debt. I say me and Joe. Honestly, it's been the most stressful time ever. I've cried a lot. However, the positives is one, he's recovering really well now. There's a whole story on that as well. And my vets are literally the best people in the world. We go to Bellevue Vets, and they all love him, and I feel so at ease there. He had to spend a day there, literally on Monday. Today is Wednesday, which I'll tell you guys all about. And they are just incredible there. I would not go to any other vets. So, yeah, if any of you guys of the team are watching from Bellevue, genuinely thank you, because you put my mind at ease. I know that he's safe there, and I actually had no worry leaving him there. Like, you know, when sometimes you leave your dog at the vets and you think, oh my God, like, is he even going to go to the toilet? Obviously, they're the vets, of course he is, but like your mum, like dog mum brain just comes into action. So in this episode, I just want to tell you exactly what happened and why I've been so crap and so quiet, because life has literally been like throwing tests at me constantly, and I'm literally like getting punched in the face every single day with all these like little tests in life. So life has just been hectic, it's been stressful, hence why I've been quite quiet on socials and everything like that. But yeah, I'm just going to tell you the whole story start to end, because it's not even ended yet, but we are on the right tracks, and from here I don't even want to say it. I want to say it's fairly simple, touch wood. However, it never normally is with Fergus. So, as I said, I was actually away house sitting, local, so I was still able to come home like during the days and stuff to pop in to Fergus when he needed someone to see to him. And basically on the Wednesday night, I'd been at my house sit for 3 nights already. I got some messages at like midnight, but Granny here, I was asleep by then. And I got loads of messages from Joe basically saying he's really worried about Fergus. He's throwing up loads. He's got really bad diarrhea. He's a bit lethargic. But I honestly woke up to those messages and didn't even panic. Dogs get sickness and diarrhea all the time. 9 times out of 10 as well, they obviously clear on their own. So you don't even need to really do a lot. Maybe take them off their food, give them very bland food, boiled chicken, rice, scrambled egg, things like that. And just make sure they've got lots of fluids, rest, etc, etc. So I woke up to those messages, not even panicking whatsoever. I just said, don't give him his breakfast this morning. Make sure he's got plenty of water, which he always does. And I'll come check on him at lunchtime. So lunchtime came around on the Thursday now, so it was Wednesday night, he was really poorly, and then Thursday. And I got to him at sort of about midday, and he was like completely weird. The sickness and diarrhea completely stopped. So the last time he was sick or had diarrhea was 4 a.m. Thursday morning. And nothing else had happened apart from him acting like he was when I got here. So I got here, and he was like staring at walls. He couldn't stand up on his back feet. He was trembling. His eyes were all droopy. He wasn't really responding to me. He could just about sort of like mooch around the house. Wouldn't go to the toilet. Like really, really weird. And I thought, this isn't sickness and diarrhea. But equally, because we've not had Fergus since he was a puppy, we don't know his pain threshold. So I was trying again not to panic, because I thought he could just be being very dramatic. Like, there are dogs, horses that even if you poke them, they'll literally scream. Like, one little cut, they could act like they've got a broken leg. So I didn't know what his pain threshold was, but I thought the trembling is maybe a sign of a temperature or a fever or something like that. So I was like, this is really weird. And I just had a really bad gut feeling. And obviously I was chatting to Joe, I was chatting to Joe's parents, I was chatting to my mum, my sisters, Georgie, Ellie, like I was telling people, and obviously on Instagram as well, I was saying how unwell he was, and everyone was saying the same sorts of things, like just give him some time, like sickness and diarrhea could really wipe it out of him, etc, etc. And I don't know, I was like going along with it. I was like, yeah, you're right. But I just kept having this like really weird gut feeling. And I was like, no, I'm just going to take him. I was like, this just doesn't seem very right. So went to the vets on the Thursday, and our vet Karen, she poked and prodded him like she needed to. Like, she really got her hands up in there in his stomach, like feeling for any foreign bodies. She obviously like did all the things like take his temperature, check his gums, and all the, I don't know what they're called, but all the general checks that you would do whenever your dog goes to the vet. And everything seemed pretty normal, to be honest. We were just like, this is really weird how he's acting this strange. And she did say, she was like, because of his history, I am tempted to x-ray. However, he's not sort of acting the same way as he was the last time it was a foreign body. So she gave me some probiotics, and she said, look, I think he's obviously just wiped out from the sickness and diarrhea. He's very dehydrated. So go home and see how you get on. He ended up declining overnight on the Thursday night to the point where he was just curled up on his bed and he was just asleep. Like, that was it. He was still shaking. He was not right. And again, nothing was very dramatic. We thought it was just this obviously really bad sickness and diarrhea. People had said that in the area it was rife. So I was like, oh, he's got it bad. So yeah, we got sent home with some probiotics. And did we get sent home with anything else? Oh, he had an anti-sickness jab. He had an anti-sickness jab as well. Stop him feeling sick. And also, did he have any painkillers? No, I think it was just the anti-sickness and some probiotics for his belly. And the anti-sickness definitely took the edge off, but he still wasn't right in himself. So Friday comes around, and again, people like, just give him time, like he'll get better. It's only been 2 days, like sickness and diarrhea can obviously again really wipe them out. And I just kept thinking, this isn't right. This is not just sickness and diarrhea, because even though he had the anti-sickness jab, he was just like so not with it, like loop-de-loo. And when you just know your dog and you're just like, this isn't right. And even Joe, to be fair, like, don't disagree with him at all, because he was just trying to stay calm, like be rational, whereas I am dramatic, and people know that I'm dramatic, and I'm very precious over my animals. So I think I can like bite the bullet a bit too quickly, even if it's the slightest thing. So I think everyone was just trying to stay calm and be rational, but I was just like, no, this is not normal. Like, I need to go now. Back to the vet. So Friday, I took him back, and I was just like, no, this isn't normal. And she was like, right, I'm going to x-ray him just to be safe. Just because of his history, let's just see if it's a foreign body. If it's not a foreign body, we can rule that out and then go from there. Lo and behold, I didn't even think it was a foreign body, to be honest, because we are very vigilant with him. Like I said, he can't access our kitchen bins. Our garden, there isn't anything that he can get access to other, like we live in a woodland. There isn't anything he can get access to. We don't leave things lying around. And long story short, x-rayed him, and he had a corn on the cob that was actually looked like maize rather than a corn on the cob, because it was the size, well, it was 6 centimetres long exactly. We've got a photo of it. It was 6 centimetres long. So that's literally about this big. If you think of like a pair of tweezers, the handle of a pair of tweezers, that's how tiny it was. So we were like, this is really weird. And then we panicked because we had a barbecue. So this was all happening Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The Saturday before, we had a barbecue, and we did have corn on the cobs that were like shop bought, and they were the small ones like this. So we were like, oh my God, it's us. Like, we've left corn on the cobs outside. Like, how has he done this? Bearing in mind, we cleared it all. We've looked out there. There's nothing there. And I said to Joe, I remember cleaning up the corn on the cobs because they were in a blue dish. They were all wrapped in tin foil. And I remember when we were doing the clear up, I put them on the side, didn't drop any because otherwise I would have gone and picked it up. Like, I was replaying every single moment. And I was like, oh my God, is this my fault? Like, have I fed my dog a corn on the cob because I haven't done a good enough job of clearing up? And it turns out that I personally think he picked it up out on a walk on the Wednesday evening, which again is absolutely no one's fault, because he was with Joe's parents that evening. Again, I'm going to reiterate, like, it was not their fault whatsoever. He could have done it with me, he could have done it with Joe, could have done it with my mum. Like, it doesn't matter who was looking after him on the Wednesday night. He is a scavenger. He could do something right now in front of me, and you wouldn't be able to stop him. He is such a scavenger with everything. So we x-rayed him at the vet, and she was like, you need to go to surgery now. Because obviously he'd had the foreign body for about 2 days, and it was obviously getting worse because his gut was trying to digest it, but it was then obviously blocked, like it just couldn't move. It was sat in the stomach, then went through his intestine, got blocked. So we were like, right, okay, we need to go. I obviously panicked because I was on my own. Joe was still at work, and I rang Joe and I was like, you need to come now. I was like, we need to go to Bristol. And I was like, I don't want to go on my own because I knew it would just break my heart, like leaving him, and I just needed help. So Joe left work, came straight away. Thankfully, it was like nearer to the end of the day, bless him. And yeah, they got him an IV, like in straight away. Gave him methadone, so he had like the best painkillers. He was high as a kite, didn't feel a thing. And yeah, you can actually see on the x-ray that it was literally a corn on the cob. Like, you can see the little like dimples, and we were like, there's no way. So they were like, you need to go to surgery now. And they were amazing. I got really upset because obviously when you hear that your dog needs like emergency surgery, you're like, and especially the fact that this was the second one, and I knew that. I was like, oh, is there going to be more risks? Like, what's, going on? And he's not even 2 yet. Like, oh, it was terrifying. So yeah, we'd just been told that he needs to go to surgery. They did all the things, gave him a massive painkiller, and they were like, go now. So Joe arrived, and we put him straight in Joe's car. I actually drove to Bellevue, and I don't recommend doing this. Do not do this. It is so dangerous. But on that Friday when I took him back to the vets, I kind of panicked because he was so ill. And I had a flat tyre. It wasn't like burst or anything, but I like needed air in my tyre on my way to the vets, like to Bellevue, not to Langford. Knowing that he was like declining, I stopped in 2 petrol stations. Both of them were out of order. And I was like, I'm not going to make it. Anyways, made it. But I rang Joe. I was like, you need to bring your car because my car's got a flat tyre. Basically, like, it wasn't safe to do a long journey in whatsoever. I was like, you need to come here and we'll take him. So anyways, Bellevue were amazing. They were like, we're so sorry. If we had someone that could look after him overnight, I would just do it right now. But they didn't have any staff in, so they couldn't operate there and then. So they referred us to Langford, who honestly, again, if Langford team are watching, were incredible. Like, just as incredible as Bellevue. Like, the updates were amazing. They were so kind. And the surgeon who was working on Ferg, like honestly, I don't think he even slept between Friday and Sunday. I could be wrong, but I got there the Friday, he was on it. Got there the Sunday, on it. All through Saturday, he was ringing, he was updating, he was just everything. Like, so amazing. And obviously, it's not just the surgeon who's part of that team. I know there was multiple people who would have been looking after him, doing his, I want to say obs, like in the hospital they do like observations, like his obs and things, like, you know what I mean, like temperature and things like that, his meds. I know there was like a team of people that were looking after him. I just obviously spoke to only Nick, the surgeon. So yeah, sorry, going off on a tangent, but we got there on Friday, got to Langford. It felt like the longest hour ever, because obviously I knew that he had this corn on the cob stuck in his belly, and I was like, oh my God, like it's just there, and I need to drive an hour to get to Bristol. But yeah, I got there, and they didn't actually want to operate straight away because of how dehydrated he was. They wanted to keep him in, put him on a drip, put him on fluids, and get his liquids up before they could operate, because he was, bless him, he was so poorly. However, we then drove home, and at about 8 p.m. they must have gone into surgery, because we then got a call at about 10:30 to say that the surgery went well. Thank God, honestly, those hours between like dropping him off and him finishing his surgery. First of all, I didn't even think he was going to get operated on the Friday night because of how poorly he was. I generally thought it'd be like early hours of the morning, but I think they wanted to get it out like ASAP. Oh yeah, sorry, I've skipped a little step. Going back to when we dropped him off, most heartbreaking thing ever, like literally ever. And I knew like deep down I was doing the right thing, because obviously he needed it. It was like a life or death situation. So of course I was going to leave him there, but like something in my heart, I was just like, I can't leave him here. I was like, he doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know these people. Like, he doesn't have his suck in. It's honestly, I'm so dramatic. Like, I just felt so emotional about the fact that he was there without his sucky, and he didn't know where he was, and he didn't know the people, and he didn't have his normal like routine and his normal food. Like, honestly, just the little things that I know, like what are the vets meant to do? Like, they're literally operating and giving him the help he needs, otherwise he's literally going to pass away. So like, get yourself together. But I just couldn't cope with it, and I sobbed. I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And I rang the next morning on the Saturday to ask if I could come and see him. And Langford, bless them, they were so nice. They were like, look, we're not going to stop you coming to see him. If you want to see him, that's fine. However, we're saying that because there's a chance he could come home tomorrow, you coming and then leaving again could really stress him out. And he said, don't get me wrong, like, it could not. It could, you know, completely comfort him. And maybe if he was staying like for 4 or 5 days, coming to see him might boost his mood and things like that. But he said, because there's a chance that he could go home tomorrow, I just don't want to stress him out this early on after surgery, which was really fair. And I'm glad they like didn't stop me from seeing him. So this might help people who might have a surgery at Langford one day, but they didn't stop me, me and Joe. But they also said, like, I do just want to say, like, it might stress him out, and I don't want you to get more upset if he does get stressed when you leave. And I said, you know what, it's one day. He is in the best hands. He is where he needs to be. But yeah, honestly, leaving him and like passing the vet the lead and him just like walking away, I was just like, it was horrible. It's just hard because they just don't understand. They don't understand where they're going. They don't understand why it's happening. Like, he was just looking at me like, what is going on? So that was honestly the most heartbreaking part. And Saturday was really hard as well, because I knew that he'd had the surgery, and I knew he was like around, like he'd obviously come around from the anaesthetic. And on the Saturday, I was literally just like, he's just sat there. What if people are walking past him? Which I'm not blaming Langford whatsoever, because they definitely weren't doing that. But like, just the thought of him, I don't know, it was just the thought that was really like getting to me, even though it was only one day. Again, dramatic, but like, yeah, Saturday was a really hard day. I remember I didn't have much planned either. So I think I took Lux out for like 2.5 hours to keep myself busy, because I knew for a fact he wasn't coming home Saturday. Otherwise, of course, I would have like not really done anything in case I needed to leave the house straight away to go and get him. But I knew that he was definitely not coming home Saturday, so I did things to obviously keep myself busy. But yeah, then we got the call on the Sunday morning to say that he could come home, and it was literally the best thing ever. I even like got ready Like, I like did my hair, put a bit of makeup on. I was like, I'm going to get him. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just so relieved and excited and happy. Joe was actually at a game that day, all day, so he couldn't come with me. And he nearly didn't go as well. Like, it was the finals of the season for American football, and he nearly didn't go. But I was like, no, like, go. There's a chance that he could not even come home today, anyways. So just go, and I'm here if obviously he does need to come home, which is a shame because obviously I missed Joe's football game, but obviously this was way more important. No offence, Joe. But yeah, so I went and picked him up at about 1:30 on the Sunday, and it was literally the best thing ever. If you want to see us reuniting, it's on my Instagram and my TikTok as well. I don't know if I'm allowed to say those names on this, but anyways, that's where you can find it. And yeah, he was recovering really well up until, so he had it on the Friday, so probably a week and a half later, he then completely took a turn. So he came home, he was on his meds, he was taking his meds, he was really tired for the first sort of 4 or 5 days, then he got quite bouncy, and was just like, take me on a walk, I need to do something. So he was recovering really, really well. He's not allowed to do any exercise, literally had to go out in the garden on a lead, go to the toilet, come straight back in, and that's for the next 4 weeks. But yeah, so a week and a half later, so this is the Monday just gone, it's now Wednesday today, so on the Monday just gone, he was being sick, like, so much, like projectile vomiting, couldn't even make it out to the toilet, because obviously he wouldn't even start, like, you know, when dogs, you know they're going to be sick, they start making that, like, gulp noise, and you're like, out in the garden. You didn't do that. It was literally 1 minute he was looking at you like, hi, the next minute it was literally out, like projectile vomiting, diarrhea. And again, like, we did panic, and we were like, right, vets tomorrow, because this was Sunday. Oh no, yeah, so this was Sunday, this was Sunday night. No, it couldn't have been. Sorry, no, I'm getting all my days mixed up. This was Saturday night, and he was being sick, at like 1 a.m, early hours Sunday. And I was like, oh God, I was like, what is this all about? And I panicked a little bit, but I was like, it's really hard for me to say this, and I don't want to sound like it's about the money whatsoever, but me and Joe like knew how much money this was going to cost us, because, spoiler, the insurance will not touch him whatsoever, because this is his second surgery. They covered the first one. Looking at his vet history, they would no chance in hell they would pay out for any of this. So we knew that obviously we are going to do anything to save him, of course, not put him through absolutely anything, no, like, do everything we can to obviously help him and save him and pay for anything that he needs. But after the surgery and once he was recovering, obviously it'd been a week and a half, we were very mindful that, you know, as long as he has so much rest, he's on the right meds, and there's no signs of him being unwell, like, we were just going to try and get through to recovery, and that'd be that, and then just carry on with our walks again when he was cleared to go to by the vet. But yeah, we were really mindful that it was Sunday, and they were going to charge us £309 just to walk through the doors at our out of hours vets, and obviously we were going to take him if he needed it, which is exactly what we did. So we actually waited all day Sunday because the sickness and diarrhea had stopped, and we already phoned the vet for advice, and we said, look, he's had this surgery, this is the surgery he had, these are the meds he's on. Like, we had a proper chat with a vet over the phone. Bearing in mind these were the vets from Langford, so who dealt with him, and they said, just keep an eye on him, take away his food, make sure he's drinking lots, and he was drinking lots, until the shaking then started again. And I was like, oh my God, like, honestly, that Sunday when he was poorly, I genuinely thought that this was it. I thought, no, his stomach is like given up. He's not coped. His body's not coping. He's just not well. Like, he's not making it through the second surgery, like the recovery of the second surgery. So the Sunday I said, we're just going to have to pay it. Like, me and Joe were so stressed, like, to the point where we were just like sat in silence pretty much all day Sunday, because we were just so worried. We were like, what do we do? Like, kind of going between, like, do we wait till tomorrow because he's not that bad? And then obviously Sunday evening, the trembling started. He started acting really lethargic. So we were like, no, we're going. So we went straight to our out of hours. They gave him an antibiotic injection, an anti-sickness jab, and a basically a very, very strong painkiller. And they were like, look, this will see him through the night. Go to your vet's first thing in the morning. So that cost us like £520, which again, I don't want to talk about money and be like, oh, this cost me so much money. But we knew this was all coming out of our pocket. And of course, like I'm going to repeat 1,000 times that I would literally pay any money for him. I pay any money for Lux to save them and fix them. But I will always go for quality of life over quantity. Always live by that. I feel like I've said that on my TikTok and things before. Hi, baby. We're talking about you. Even though I don't want to be like, oh yeah, that cost us £520. It has cost us around sort of £7,000 for all of this, with no insurance, because obviously they won't pay out for the second surgery. So, and me and Joe are low earners, like we don't have spare income. We put all our money into like living a lovely life. Like obviously we've got a really good opportunity here where we live. Joe spends money on going fishing and I spend money on my horse, and Joe works really hard and I work really hard, and we don't spend money on going out. We don't really drink. We don't really do anything social. Like we don't spend our money on silly things. But you could also argue that we do spend a lot of money on our hobbies. Like I know my horse is expensive. I know competing is expensive. But that's what I like to spend my money on. So when I'm talking about money in this, I don't want to be like, oh God, it cost me £500 just to get him a painkiller, because I will do it in a heartbeat. And all my family know that, all my friends know I don't have to like validate myself for anyone. But yeah, at this sort of point, we were trying to just get through to recovery, see how he goes, and then just hope and pray that all we had to kind of sort out was the surgery money and then be done with it. But yeah, so anyways, got to my vets on the Monday, and they were like, so weird, it's really, really weird. And they were like, is there a chance it could be another foreign body? And I literally was like, at this point, I don't even know. I said, I'm just watching him, like my eyes are on stalks, like he's not been jumping up. We've like been so strict with him, even to the point of like who comes and sees him. We're not like letting anyone like sort of out of the ordinary come and see him just in case he gets excited. Like we've been so strict with him. And yeah, I was like, there's no way he could have done, like it could be another foreign body. Like he's on the lead outside all the time. We never leave anything that he can eat around the house. Thankfully, it wasn't that. And it turns out he had a seroma on his belly, which is basically like swelling around between like the muscle of the surgery. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me. But he had a seroma. But because he was so poorly on the Monday that he went in to my vet's and he stayed there all day. And again, I just bawled my eyes out because it was just another day where I had to leave him in a strange place. Even though it's not Bellevue, I actually felt better leaving him at Bellevue than Langford, only because, not because the team weren't very good or anything like that, just because I knew Bellevue and it was local and he's been there loads and he knows the girls and things like that. So yeah, left him there for the day. He was on a drip, he was on antibiotics, and thankfully, thank God it wasn't a stomach infection, because they did say to me like, look, if it's a stomach infection, he's going to have to go straight back into surgery and have those infections scraped out. And I just, at that point when they said that to me, that like, look, this could be a possibility, I was just like, I don't think we can do that. Like, he's not even 2 years old. He would have been through the surgery twice, and then a third time, I don't even know like if he would have like made it through that surgery. I don't think his body would have coped recovering again afterwards, because clearly he's a very, very sensitive dog. And I was just like, no, I don't think... I didn't say this to anyone, but at the time I genuinely didn't think if I was going to be able to put him through that, because I've always said about quality of life over quantity, like the fact that he would be in so much pain afterwards, and would his body even cope recovering. Thank God it wasn't a stomach infection, and he just was really sore, and the fact that it was so swollen then caused him to have sickness and diarrhea and things like that. And thankfully, a day in the vets, on a drip and having loads of antibiotics flushed through him, he managed to come away bouncing and happy, and he is back to his normal self, which is literally incredible. So our plans now are he does have to keep his staples in for a bit longer than normal because of the swelling that he did have. It hasn't healed as quickly. So the last step is just to keep him on box rest, essentially, like very strict box rest up until he has his staples out, and then I'm not sure where we go from the staples. I don't know whether he's allowed to walk or like short walks, obviously, but I'll chat with my vet about that. But yeah, I can easily say it was the most stressful, heartbreaking. Get down. See, this is what he tries to do. Good boy, get down. Good boy. He's just so bouncy, and he wants to come up for cuddles all the time, and he can't. So yeah, that is kind of the story about how my dog ate a corn on the cob and how it was literally the most terrifying, upsetting thing in the whole world. I generally thought I was going to lose him, and I think that would have literally destroyed me. But you're here, and I don't even think I can get emotional about it anymore because of the relief that he's just like here, like his head is literally in my hands. Do you know what I mean? But honestly, at the time, like, it was just heartbreaking. I was just up in the night. It was absolutely awful. So here is your sign that please don't let your dog eat anything that's foreign to their bellies. Fergie, going forward, if we are on like a country walk and we're in fields or we're in a place we don't know and he is off the lead, he will be muzzled. We are actually in the process of ordering a muzzle, and he is going to be muzzle trained before obviously he goes out and walks with the muzzle on, because he's such a scavenger and he will only do harm to himself without even realising, because obviously if he has another foreign body, his belly, because he's now had 2 surgeries, his gut has got a load of adhesions on it. So basically the vet said he actually should have been able to pass this corn on the cob the second time around. What are you eating? See what I mean? Like, he's not even eating anything right now. What did you just eat? He's just, like, that's what I mean. He's a scavenger. There's nothing there. There's no food there. But he's just licking, and then he's acted like he's just chewed something. There's nothing there. But hence why the muzzle. Sorry, what was I saying? Oh, no, I was talking about his belly. Yeah, sorry. So because his belly has got adhesions all around, he should have been able to pass this corn on the cob through. But because his belly, like, it's meant to obviously go like that, his is more, the corners are quite sharp. So it was just blocked when it should have just been able to not digest, but just pass through, and he could have a big poo. But yeah, because of the adhesions in his belly and the scar tissue, it just makes it really risky if he does have another blockage. So yeah, that is the story of Fergus. He isn't like 100% yet. He's still got a few problems. Like today, his wound is like weeping. So that's something I need to call the vets about. And yeah, we've got to go for a check tomorrow and then another check Friday. Like, he's not 100% yet, but it's not like a life or death situation at the moment, which is really, really good. But I'm kind of like living on my nerves because he, like, for a few days is absolutely fine, and then 1 minute he like takes a sudden turn, and then you're back to that like life or death situation again. So I think until his staples are out, I'm just going to be petrified, if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, thank you for listening, and this is your sign. Please don't let your dog have a corn on the cob, and have a lovely rest of your day. I'm going to stop talking now because I'm not joking. Filming these episodes, my jaw hurts. Like, it's actually because I don't talk all day long. My jaw hurts, honestly. Right, can we all just make a pact? Let's not eat corn on the cobs, yeah? Whoop, whoop. Okay, right, thank you guys for listening or watching if you are on YouTube, and I will see you guys soon for another podcast episode. But for now, hide your corn on the cobs because the stress they bring, not worth it.